The Banshee is more than just a whisper of Irish folklore. She is a figure steeped in mystery, fear, and chilling encounters that have transcended generations. For centuries, her mournful wail has been said to echo through the countryside, a harbinger of impending death. To some, she is merely a myth. To others, she is a spectral warning no one dares to ignore. Legends of the Banshee vary across Ireland, but one element remains constant: her piercing, unearthly cry. Descriptions of her appearance are equally haunting. Some say she is an old hunched crone with hair like cobwebs and eyes red from endless weeping. Others describe her as a beautiful young woman draped in flowing white or gray robes, her face pale as the moonlight. One common detail, however, is her hair. Long, wild, and impossibly silver, as if spun from frost. Stories of the Banshee's appearances are plentiful and deeply rooted in Irish family lore. In the rural village of Kilkenny, an elderly farmer named Seamus O'Connor recalled the night his grandmother passed. He spoke of a figure he glimpsed through the window. A gaunt woman standing on the hill behind their home, her face obscured but her wailing unmistakable. Hours later, the family was awoken by a knock at the door, a neighbor bringing word that Seamus's grandmother had breathed her last. "It was as if she knew," Seamus murmured, "and she came to tell us before anyone else could." The Banshee's cry is not always heard directly by those it concerns. In some accounts, it is neighbors or even strangers who hear the keening and later learn of a death nearby. This was the case in Galway, where a group of fishermen claimed to hear a woman's lamentation carried over the waves. Though the shore was empty, the sound persisted for hours. The next morning, the body of a young man who had drowned was discovered washed ashore. The villagers whispered that the Banshee had come to mourn him before the sea relinquished its hold. Not all encounters with the Banshee end in quiet acceptance. There are tales of those who dared to confront her, only to regret their boldness. In one story from County Cork, a man named Liam O'Donnell, emboldened by drink, followed the wailing sound into the woods. He claimed to have seen her crouched beneath an ancient oak, combing her silver hair with a bone comb. When he called out, she turned to him, her face a mask of rage and sorrow. Liam was found the next day, trembling and incoherent, unable to speak of what he had witnessed. He died a week later. His hair turned white as snow. The Banshee is often associated with specific families, particularly those of ancient Gaelic lineage. Clans like the O'Neills, O'Briens, and O'Connors are said to be watched by her, with each generation experiencing her ominous presence. The belief is that she is a family spirit, mourning the deaths of her kin and ensuring their passage to the next world. Some even suggest that the Banshee's origins lie in these families' ancestral pasts, with the spirit being a wronged woman or tragic figure tied to their lineage. Modern sightings of the Banshee are rarer, but no less terrifying. In 1989, a woman named Aoife Byrne recounted her experience while staying at her grandmother's cottage in Donegal. She described waking to a high-pitched wail that seemed to come from all directions at once. Looking out the window, she saw a shadowy figure drifting through the mist, her hair glowing faintly in the moonlight. Aoife's uncle passed away unexpectedly the following morning. To this day, Aoife insists that the Banshee was not a mere apparition but a tangible warning of what was to come. In recent years, there have been unsettling accounts of people actively seeking the Banshee, only to meet tragic ends. In 2005, a group of amateur paranormal investigators ventured into the hills of County Clare, armed with recording equipment. They hoped to capture the Banshee's cry. Days later, their abandoned car was found near a cliffside, and the search party uncovered no trace of the group except for a single audio recorder. The recovered tape revealed faint, haunting wails interspersed with panicked whispers and screams. The recording abruptly ended, leaving investigators baffled and the families of the missing haunted by unanswered questions. In another chilling case, a young man from Dublin named Ciaran McGuinness became obsessed with documenting the Banshee, after hearing family stories of her appearance before his great-grandfather's death. Ciaran spent months researching sightings and interviewing locals who claimed to have encountered the spirit. One night, he ventured into the ruins of a castle in Tipperary, known for its eerie history. His body was discovered the next morning, with no visible injuries, but an expression of sheer terror frozen on his face. Nearby, his camera lay shattered, and the audio from his recorder captured what some described as a faint, mournful cry. Skeptics argue that the Banshee's legend is little more than folklore, but for those who have experienced her presence, she is far from imaginary. In Limerick, a woman named Bridget Hayes spoke of hearing the Banshee as a child. It was like the sound of heartbreak itself, she said. Even as a little girl, I knew it wasn't meant for me, but it made me cry all the same. 2 days later, our neighbor passed away. Bridget, now in her 70s, still avoids the hill near her childhood home where the wailing once pierced the night. Even more unsettling are accounts of the Banshee's malevolent side. In 2017, a couple hiking in Wicklow reported seeing a woman in white standing near the edge of a cliff. She appeared to be singing, her voice carrying an eerie melody on the wind. When they approached, she vanished, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of dread. Later that week, the couple learned of a fatal accident that had occurred at the very spot where they had seen the figure. Despite the dangers, some continue to seek the Banshee, drawn by morbid curiosity or a desire to prove her existence. These pursuits often end in tragedy or leave those involved forever changed. A historian from Belfast, determined to debunk the legend, spent weeks camping in areas associated with sightings. He later abandoned his work, refusing to speak of his experiences, and moved abroad, citing an unshakable feeling of being watched. The Banshee's cry is said to chill the blood and resonate deep within the soul. For those who have heard it, the sound is unforgettable. It's not just a noise, said Patrick O'Leary, a farmer from Kerry. It's a presence. You feel it wrap around you, and in that moment, you know you're not alone. And you know you'll never forget it. Patrick's account is echoed by many who have encountered the Banshee, each describing an experience that defies rational explanation. In addition to her mournful cries, there are darker tales that paint the Banshee as a malevolent force. Some believe she doesn't merely predict death, but brings it about herself. A chilling account from Tipperary tells of a young couple who encountered a beautiful woman by the roadside late one night. She asked for a ride, and they obliged. Halfway to their destination, she began to sing, a haunting melody that filled the car with an oppressive dread. When they turned to look at her, she had vanished. The following week, the couple was killed in a car accident on the same road. Locals whispered that they had invited the Banshee into their lives, and she had claimed them. Even in her more neutral portrayals, the Banshee is an unsettling figure. Her presence is a reminder of mortality, a spectral messenger of life's fragility. Yet, for some, there is comfort in her mourning. In certain stories, she is seen not as a harbinger of doom, but as a compassionate figure, weeping for those who have no one else to grieve for them. Her cries, though terrifying, are also a testament to the enduring connection between the living and the dead. The Banshee's legend has permeated popular culture, appearing in literature, film, and even music. Yet the true power of her story lies in the oral traditions of Ireland, where she remains a living, breathing part of the culture. Each tale adds to her mystique, ensuring that her wail will continue to haunt the imaginations of those who dare to listen. Whether she is a myth, a spirit, or a collective manifestation of grief, the Banshee occupies a unique space in the realm of the supernatural. Her cries echo not only through the hills and valleys of Ireland, but also through the hearts of those who fear the inevitability of her message. And while skeptics may dismiss her as a figment of folklore, one thing is certain. The Banshee's legend will not fade quietly into the night.